Hello, everybody, and welcome to what do we call this? Romy slash American podcast?
Something like that.
Something like that. Okay, we are in a Romy Gypsy village in Lanciarova. And as you can see, I've got a couple young men. Are you guys Roma Gypsies?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Actually, these guys are from, well, I'll let them tell you. Kevin, introduce yourself.
I'm Kevin. I'm 17, and I'm from Boca Raton, Florida.
Good. And you are here on the mission trip, right?
Yes.
Good. And you are?
Yep. My name is John. Just like Kevin, I'm from America, Boca Raton, Florida. Came here on the missions trip with a club from my high school.
Good. And who are you, young man?
I'm Scott. I'm 15 years old. I'm from Jupiter, Florida, but I came here with my high school again, Boca High, just with the boys on the mission trip.
Good. All right. So we are glad to have you here. And why are we doing this podcast? We kind of wanted to get your perspective on, you've been here, 2.5 weeks, and you've been to 4 different villages on a constant basis. And why don't you guys just kind of share your hearts on, what you've been experiencing personally since you've been here, the things you've seen and what's impacted you, and let us know what the Lord's doing in your lives. Kevin, why don't you start?
Well, I would say this is my second year on the mission team, and I would say coming from Boca, where everything is so uniform and nice, and like everybody's pretty into the material things, like going out buying new clothes every few weeks, getting food every week for the house, and then coming here, just seeing all the houses, like all the dirt roads, the Roma Gypsies. It's a really humbling experience, and it's just a lot to take in. Like, you see in some of the villages, kids like half clothed or not clothed at all, and it's just like I see the Lord working in the villages already. Like, us coming over, they're so happy to see us, and it's just something I never thought I would experience in my young life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just so you know, I remember when Kevin was born. Again, Kevin's father, Tom, I used to be in business with him when I was a stockbroker, right? Mm-hmm. And then he kicked me out. I remember when I announced to him and the rest of the partners, like I said, I'm leaving, I'm going to go be a pastor. And your dad's like over the corner with a calculator going, that's less we have to split. That's your father, right? All right, John, why don't you share a little bit with
Okay.
what you've experienced?
So this is my first year coming to Croatia and coming to these villages on the missions trip. And it's really been eye-opening for me seeing, the villages, because, I had before this trip, I was just trying to visualize what it would be like. And it's really nothing like I would, imagine. Seeing just different villages, having, dirt roads, some villages, there's glass on the floor and kids walking around with no shoes. And I think the biggest thing that's impacted me is seeing these villages and the condition that they're in, but still having, in these villages, having such strong biblical leaders in the villages, like seeing Vid and Dancho. And that's really inspiring to me, because it's easy for them just to, live in this and not, try not to, improve their lives, but seeing them step out in faith and, it's really powerful to see that, because, they don't have to do that.
Right.
And it's amazing how God, has given that gift to them. And I don't know, it's just really inspiring to me, sitting at Vid's house last week, and he was telling us how, he has Bible studies, Tuesday through Thursdays with the kids, and just seeing how...
Vid, by the way, is one of our leaders in the other village who, is ministering to the kids and everything. Yep.
Yep. And just learning how, another thing that got me with Vid is how he learned to read through, reading the Bible. And that's just, amazing, to see someone, because that's, a big task,
Huge task.
That's such an age. So, I don't know, that's really what's impacted me, seeing that. And that's something that I want to hold on to when I leave and go back to Boca, where it's, not quite like this. I wanna remember this and remember all the Don Cho and the people that I've met here. So
That's awesome. And just so you know, Vid, one of our leaders there in the other village, I don't know if I told you guys this story. He is so disciplined, right? He makes the kids, the little gypsy kids, he teaches them the Bible, he gives them homework, and he grades them on homework in the Bible. He's got all these binders. Yeah, I show up, he's like, Pastor, let me show you their I'm looking at it, I'm like, come on, Vid, you're killing these kids. David, our leader, who leads the overall youth ministry, David works closely with Vid, training him and giving Vid the stuff that he needs to do. And, so David's in Zagreb, right? And he calls Vid one day to talk to him and, kind of get him organized on stuff. And Vid's like, David, I can't talk to you. I'm doing a Bible study with the kids. Click. David comes to me and goes, Vid, he's intense. Vid's got his way. So,
Amen.
yeah, it's awesome. But you guys have just been such a blessing here. So, Scott, what about you, buddy? Well,
right.
let me brag a little bit on you, can I?
Sure.
Scott brought his saxophone here, right? And in one of the villages, one of our guys, his son, is so gifted in playing. Isn't he gifted? By the way, his name's Elvis, but of course, Elvis is alive, right?
Reincarnated.
Yeah. So Scott and Elvis, Romy guy, Elvis is what, about 16? He's about your age, right?
16, yeah.
Elvis never learned to read notes, right? He just taught it. He's got the gift. He taught himself how to play the, what would you call that? Keyboards.
Piano.
Yeah. And he just goes, right? And Scott grabs his saxophone and Scott starts freestyling with Elvis. You guys hadn't practiced or anything, huh? It was incredible. And thank you so much for stepping out and doing that. I'm going to tell you something. You as an American doing that with Elvis is so huge, because to them, the fact that you would be willing to do something with them like that, let me tell you, that gives them such dignity, feeling that they have, that they have worth. So thank you for doing that. I know you're out of your comfort zone and you're kind of up there just going, all right, what am I going to do here? But boy, you brought it. So why don't you share some of your experiences besides that?
Yeah, playing with Elvis was probably one of the highlights of my trip so far, because back in Boca, I play a lot with other musicians, and sure, they're good and stuff, but they have all their training and stuff. And I come here and Elvis is better than so many people
Really?
back at home.
He's that good?
Yeah, and he's just crazy going off, and I'm able to play with him, and it sounds so great, and everybody's enjoying it, and being able to spread that to the kids, and and everybody there, especially Elvis, who was so happy after we played.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a great feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the villages overall have just been so eye opening, because back in Boca, as Kevin was talking about, everything is all what's the word?
Nice.
Yeah, good, yeah, nice.
Calm.
Everything's all neat. The main issue is which car I'm gonna drive today. Nothing's really, and yet people there still have worse attitudes than the people
Not
here.
everybody.
And so- Okay.
Don't forget, you got to return there. Be nice.
All right,
Privilege. And there's nothing wrong with being blessed by
Yeah.
God. And if God blesses you to live there and all, that's fine. But you have to have the proper balance and perspective, right?
Yeah. Just coming here, where they have so much less than back at home, but so many of the people are just so happy. It's really humbling to me how all of my issues really are nothing compared to what these kids go through, and they're so happy, and I'm if I was in this situation, I'd be so upset. I don't know how they do it, and it's just crazy to me, because they're so loving and giving to us, even though they don't even know who we are, and that just really makes me see how how maybe we're different, but it's just so eye opening to see them like that in the villages.
And you guys have just done an amazing job. It's been tiring, huh? I mean, you've got these kids hanging on you all day, right? And you've got, you're doing all kinds of stuff. You're limited by the language. You guys have done a great job. And I tell you, thank you three, and the whole team. Because what you do is you give us credibility. You allow us to keep doing what we're doing. Because every time, our Roma people see young Americans coming, and you guys being humble and serving and smiling and hugging and doing what you're doing, sharing God's love and sharing God's word through translators and all that, let me tell you, you're not only making an immediate impact on them, but your impact carries on because it allows us to do what we're doing. We were talking before this broadcast, and you guys were asking as I was showing you around this village and showing you how things have changed since God in His grace started saving people here. And you had said that how do other villages, if you were to just walk into another village, would they accept you? Well, yeah. Not at first, but now, yes, because we have that credibility. Working with the 3 villages we work with, we could walk into the other 9 in a second. We just don't have enough people to serve yet, but to help serve these other 9 villages. But we have the credibility because of people like you. You did not come with any spoiled attitude. You didn't come with, well, I'm here to be served. You guys have shown a humility. You guys have shown a servant's heart. And even though you're limited by language, love, humility, compassion, that breaks down all language barriers. And again, what an example you are, not only to the Roma people, but also to other Americans who are going to come on missions teams afterwards. We can use you guys as examples to say, hey, we know it's hard. We got some guys that were exhausted and tired and dealing with this and that, but they just kept plugging away, kept persevering. And that's what you guys do. And it's just, as I was saying to you guys last night, when I was your age, first of all, I would have never gone on a mission trip. Second of all, had I gone on a mission trip, I would have been the most spoiled brat, complaining about food, complaining about the weather, complaining about this and that. You guys have been awesome, so I know you're not perfect.
None of us are perfect.
Because if your parents are going to watch this, they're going to be like, he's talking about my boys? But hey, let's get one more perspective, right? We've listened to you guys. Can we get a perspective from an actual Romi? Dejan, can you zoom back? And Dancho, možeš njima objasniti kao Rom, što ti misliš o ovim dečkima i što oni rade i sve? I was asking Dancho, I said, Dancho, maybe you can give your perspective as a Roma person, your perspective on having young men like this come and serve your people and serve your children and serve in this community. So, Dancho?
Ja mislim, po mojem mišljenju, što su sad došli ovdje Amerikanci, ovi mladi Amerikanci.
Dancho's saying, he goes, my opinion that the fact that these wonderful young men have come here,
Hvala Bogu što su došli tu
I thank God that they have come,
što su mogli naći vremena za nas Rome tu.
that they would be willing to find the time to come serve us as Romi here.
I drago mi je što su došli i baš iz srca to velim.
He says, from the deepest part of my heart, I am so grateful to God that you guys have come.
Što su došli u moju kuću, to mi je predivno.
He said, the fact that you would be now sitting in my home, he said, is such a blessing.
To mi nikad nije bilo na umu da će meni Amerikanci iz Floride doći u moju kuću i ovako lepo pričati o Bogu.
He said,
to mi nije bilo nikad na misli.
Yeah, he said, it was never a thought in my mind that Americans would grace my home and come in and talk about God. He said, this blows my mind.
I hvala Bogu što želi pomoći ovom selu da budu duhovni živi ti naši ljudi.
And he says, thank God that you guys have come and you have a desire to be used by God, where God can make more and more people alive in this village in the spiritual realm, that they can be saved.
I što žele ovih tineđeri, mladih tineđera, svaka im čas.
Yeah.
I iz srca to velim, što daju primjer našim takvim tineđerima kako se moraju ponašati i to.
Very good. He said he's also very thankful to God, not only that you're here serving, he said, but what kind of example you're providing to the teenager, especially young teenage boys your age here in this village. That's huge. You hear what he's saying? You hear what he's saying? This is huge what you're doing, guys. Huge. because these young teenage boys are looking at you. They're not looking at me. I'm a dinosaur to them, right? They're afraid of me because all I do is preach the Bible to them. Doncho too. Ja kažem ovi teenager tu u selu. Oni nas gleda. Mi smo dinosauri. Yes, yes. I samo želim pričati o Bogu s njima. Ha? Doncho dole. Oj, ili Andrija. Ali oni su primjeri.
Svaka čast primjer, da.
Yeah, yeah.
I to i meni cilj da dokažem i hoću im pomoći, ali uz njihovu pomoć
Yeah.
da budu tako naši tineđeri, Romi, kao što su sad oni. Primjer, u njihovim godina nešto sam razumio, 17, 15, 14, koliko,
Yeah,
16,
yeah.
već se naši Romi žele kao tineđeri, žele već beže za curama,
Yeah.
da su žene.
Yeah, he said, again, his goal in this village, especially with the teenage guys, he said his heart, his goal is to work with them and to really be able to help them develop into godly young men. And he said, you guys, your example, he says you're helping him because he's going to be able to refer to your examples of, hey, look at these Americans here. This is how you need to be. Because again, as he just said, a lot of guys your age in this village, for them, they're already running off and getting married. And they're already becoming fathers, like Tamara said. And I mean, can you imagine being a father? He's like, no.
Looking after my dog.
I don't know if you heard him. He goes, I have trouble looking after my dog, right? Yeah, and so, again, you three are living examples that he is able to use and refer to on a constant basis, long after you're gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? And who knows how, through God's grace and working through Doncho and using you as examples, how even if one teenage boy doesn't go down that wrong route, is it worth it, what you guys are doing?
Totally.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I ja uvijek tako pričam sa mojim sinovima, Andreas ima 14, a ovi dva su maloljetni, mislim,
Yeah, he says he's already started talking to his one son, Andreas, who's 14 years old. Again,
budite ko naši Amerikanci,
he
budite
goes,
ko njih.
be like these young American guys who are here. Look at their example. Look how they're acting.
Zašto su njihovi roditelji sigurni da ih šalju u Hrvatskoj? Zašto?
Yeah,
Sam im rekao.
Yeah.
Zbog toga jer su kulturni, pametni i zna se snaći. I Božja riječ, kad je s njime, onda je to...
Yep.
to.
He says, he was talking to his son, and he's like, look, you think about it. Their parents are sending their teenage sons here, sons and daughters here, to help us. And again, these are young people who take serious the word of God. And again, he's able to use you as an example for his 14-year-old boy and his younger ones as well. Koliko djeca imaš?
7.
He has 7 children. And how about that? He's going to be able to refer to, oh yeah, Scott. Oh yeah, John. Oh yeah, Kevin. How about that one?
Jer ja, vidiš, evo mog sina ne bih slao sad bez mene u Floridi. Zbog toga, jer još nisam siguran u njemu.
Yeah, he says as a father, he says he's not sure he would be able at this point to send his son to Florida to do missions. Why? Because he's not sure that his son is strong enough and serious enough about God. He'd be concerned. He says he looks at you and he thinks about your parents, even though it's probably a challenge, for your parents to say, oh, I'm going to send my sons overseas. They have confidence in you, your parents, right? And again, as a parent, he's going, wow, I've got work to do with my kids to make them hopefully as solid as you guys are. Pretty humbling, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Worth it?
Of course.
Undoubtedly.
So again, thank you guys very much. But we're not going to keep you on this podcast too much longer, because don't you have to go do some serving right now?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get lazy on me right now, okay? Anyways, I wanted to thank you guys personally, and again, I'm sure your parents will be watching this, and your family and friends, and just, again, we are just so thankful. I know Danielle and I are. Again, we know our Roma people are. You guys are awesome. And remember, missions doesn't start and stop here in Croatia with the Roma people. You go back to South Florida, continue to be the godly examples, right? Because people are watching you, you know, and you can make a difference wherever you are, right? Okay, so again, what happened? You got bit?
I don't know.
Okay, welcome to the villages. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think something did me, but
Okay, good. All right. Go to Aunt Pam. I'm sure she's got something. So, welcome to what we do. But
Thank you, Pastor Andrew. You
Yeah.
know, the ability to come here and, you know, sit in the house, you know, that's a blessing for us, you know, for us to be here. Because, you know, it's not just, you know, what we do here with, like, the kids. Like, you know, being here, that impacts us tremendously. You know, and being able to, just being here in this house and being here in this village is, like, to me, is an amazing blessing. You know, and to be in their presence. And, like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know. Just thank you for all the work you do. And seeing, you know, you and David, you know, and the whole team, how dedicated they are. Because, you know, for me, I've been here for, like, almost 2 weeks. I'm tired, you know, I'm hurting. And I can't imagine, and, like, yesterday, we were in the village, and it was just tough. I can't imagine, you know, week on week on week, you know, doing that and knowing that that's your passion that, you know, God gave you. That's you know, that's impactful to us. So thank you, Pastor Andrew, for
Thank you.
letting us be here.
yeah, I also like if it like a year ago, I never ever would have seen myself like going anywhere for a mission trip, and like if it wasn't for like you and the gospel and the Go ministry, I never would have been like convinced to come here and like experience this, which not only helps the Romy kids, but also really opens my eyes as well and
Praise
exposes
God.
me to like
Praise God.
the other like the rest of the world.
Yeah, praise God. Well, again, God gets all the glory, huh? Za Boga, huh? Za njegova slava, huh? Yeah. So again, thank you very much, and go have some fun. I'm going to do another podcast where I'm going to get some of the Romy guys in here, right? Now we're going to let them really tell the truth about what they think about you. All right, guys. God bless you. All right. Thank you very much. All right.